Maya Thompson never believed in miracles. As a hospital cleaner scrubbing floors at midnight, she had learned that life rewarded the powerful, not the poor. But when she discovered she could hear the dying thoughts of comatose billionaire Marcus Chen, everything changed. His whispered secret about betrayal, hidden fortune, and a conspiracy that could destroy thousands of lives forced her into an impossible choice. Would she risk everything to save a man she'd never spoken to, or would fear keep her silent while evil triumphed? Welcome, everyone. Before we begin this incredible journey, do me a favor. If you believe that destiny finds those brave enough to answer its call, hit that like button right now. And subscribe, because I promise you, the stories we share here will restore your faith in the extraordinary power of ordinary people. Trust me, you won't see this twist coming. Now, let's dive in. The fluorescent lights of Sacred Heart Hospital hummed their lonely midnight song as Maya Thompson pushed her cleaning cart down the empty corridor of the executive wing. Her back ached from 8 hours of scrubbing, mopping, and emptying trash cans that rich people barely noticed. At 32, she had the hands of a woman twice her age, cracked and calloused from industrial cleaners and endless work. Maya paused at the window overlooking the parking lot, her reflection staring back at her. Dark circles shadowed her brown eyes. Her uniform hung loose on her thin frame. She hadn't eaten dinner, saving that money for her daughter Zoe's school supplies. Again. The nursing school brochure sat folded in her locker, a dream that felt more distant with each passing day. $23,000 for tuition. It might as well have been $23 million. Her phone buzzed. A text from her neighbor who watched Zoe at night. "She's asleep, asked about you. Said she misses her mama." Maya's heart clenched. She typed back a heart emoji, blinking away tears. 3 more hours until her shift ended. 3 more hours until she could kiss her baby girl's forehead. "Maya, you still here?" The night supervisor, Karen, appeared around the corner. "We've got a VIP in room 712. Needs immediate attention. They're paying extra for round-the-clock care." Maya nodded, grabbing fresh supplies. She had heard the commotion earlier when they brought him in. Marcus Chen, the tech billionaire whose face plastered every business magazine. 41 years old, worth $8 billion, and now lying in a coma after his luxury car wrapped around an oak tree on Highway 101. The news said it was an accident. The cameras outside said it was a tragedy. Maya just saw it as another room to clean. Room 712 was different from the others. Bigger, quieter, filled with expensive equipment that beeped softly in the darkness. And there he was. Marcus Chen. Smaller than she expected, his face peaceful despite the tubes and wires connecting him to machines that kept him breathing, kept him alive. His black hair fell across his forehead. His hands, free of calluses or scars, rested on the white sheets. Maya began her work quietly, respectfully. She had cleaned around dying patients before, learned to move like a ghost, invisible and silent. She wiped down surfaces, emptied the small trash bin, checked that everything was orderly. As she moved closer to adjust the blinds, something impossible happened. A voice whispered in her mind, clear as glass, desperate as drowning. "Help me." Maya froze, her heart hammering. She looked around the empty room. Nobody there, just her and the comatose billionaire. She shook her head, exhaustion playing tricks. Then it came again, louder, more insistent. "Please, someone, David did this, David Sterling, he sabotaged the car, he wants me dead." Maya's knees went weak. She gripped the windowsill, staring at Marcus Chen's motionless face. His eyes remained closed, his body didn't move, but the voice in her head was unmistakable, coming from him, pouring directly into her consciousness like water finding a crack. "I know you can hear me," the voice continued, achingly hopeful. "I don't know who you are, but you're there. You're listening. Please don't let him win." Maya stumbled backward, knocking over her cart. Cleaning supplies scattered across the floor. Her breath came in gasps. This was impossible. People in comas didn't speak telepathically to janitors. This wasn't real. She was overworked, overtired, losing her mind. But deep down, beneath the panic, she knew. This was real. Somehow, impossibly, she could hear Marcus Chen's thoughts bleeding through the darkness of his coma, reaching out for the only person in the world who could listen. Maya returned the next night with trembling hands and a mind full of doubt. She had spent the day researching telepathy, comas, anything that could explain what happened. Science offered no answers. Logic said she was crazy. But maternal instinct, the same instinct that woke her, when Zoe had nightmares, told her this was real. She entered room 712 with her cart, her heart pounding. The moment she crossed the threshold, his thoughts flooded in like a dam breaking. "You came back. Thank God you came back." Relief washed through the mental connection. "I don't have much time. It's getting harder to think, harder to hold on. You have to listen carefully." Maya pulled up a chair, pretending to organize supplies while her mind opened to his story. And what a story it was. Marcus Chen had built his empire on innovation and integrity, or so the world believed. But his business partner, David Sterling, had been embezzling for years, hiding money in offshore accounts, using company funds for personal gain. Marcus had finally gathered enough evidence to expose him, had scheduled a board meeting to present everything. That was supposed to happen the day after his accident. "David tampered with my car," Marcus's thoughts explained, each word taking enormous effort. "The brake lines. I realized too late, going 70 down the canyon. I survived, but barely. And now he's going to pull the plug, claim he's honoring my wishes, take over everything." But there was more. So much more. Marcus revealed his deepest secret, the one David would destroy if given the chance. For 3 years, Marcus had been quietly funneling his wealth into a massive charitable trust. Anonymous donations to schools in poor neighborhoods, medical clinics in underserved communities, and the crown jewel, a scholarship fund specifically for single mothers trying to get their nursing degrees. $800 million set aside, ready to launch. Maya's hand flew to her mouth. $800 million for women like her, for dreams like hers. "The evidence is in my home office," Marcus continued. "Behind the bookshelf there's a safe. Code is 0827, my daughter's birthday. Inside is an encrypted drive with everything. Bank records, emails, the trust documents. You have to get it before David destroys it." "I'm nobody," Maya whispered aloud, tears streaming down her face. "I'm just a cleaner. Who would believe me?" "You're somebody who showed up," Marcus's thoughts replied softly. "You're somebody who listened when you could have walked away. You're somebody who cares. That makes you everything." Over the following nights, Maya learned more. David had already started moving pieces into place, bringing lawyers to discuss end-of-life decisions, scheduling meetings with the board to assume control. He visited Marcus's room once while Maya cleaned, and she felt Marcus's mental presence spike with fear and rage. David Sterling was everything Marcus wasn't. Cold eyes, cruel smile, expensive suit that couldn't hide the rottenness underneath. He spoke on his phone in the hallway about selling off Marcus's charitable projects, about restructuring to maximize profits. He laughed about the accident, called it fortuitous timing. Maya wanted to scream at him, to scratch his eyes out, to tell the world what he'd done, but fear paralyzed her. She was a single mother with no savings, no power, no voice. If she spoke up and failed, David Sterling would crush her like an insect. She could lose her job, lose her home, lose everything she'd worked for. But if she stayed silent, how many other single mothers would lose their dreams? That night, Maya sat in her tiny apartment after Zoe fell asleep, staring at the nursing school brochure. She thought about all the women like her, working 2 jobs, raising kids alone, believing that education was just out of reach. She thought about Marcus Chen lying in that hospital bed, his brilliant mind trapped in a failing body, begging for someone to care enough to act. She thought about the woman she wanted Zoe to see when she looked at her mother. Maya made her decision. She would be brave. She would be the miracle that Marcus needed, even if it destroyed her, because some things mattered more than safety. Some things were worth the risk. Maya found an unexpected ally in Dr. Sarah Kim, a resident who had always treated her with respect, who asked about Zoe and remembered her name. Over coffee in the hospital cafeteria, Maya told her everything, expecting disbelief or dismissal. Instead, Dr. Kim listened carefully, her intelligent eyes studying Maya's face. "You know things you shouldn't," she finally said. "Details about Marcus's condition that aren't public. And honestly, the official accident report never sat right with me. The injuries don't match a simple brake failure." Together, they formed a plan. Dr. Kim would use her medical authority to delay any decisions about life support, citing standard protocols and the possibility of recovery. That would buy them 48 hours. In that time, Maya would retrieve the evidence from Marcus's mansion. Breaking into a billionaire's home sounded insane when Maya said it aloud, but Marcus guided her through his thoughts. Cameras. He had designed his home security himself, and now that knowledge became their weapon. The mansion sat in the hills overlooking the city, a modern masterpiece of glass and steel. Maya waited until 3 in the morning, her heart threatening to burst from her chest. She wore dark clothes, carried a small backpack, and felt like a criminal. She was a criminal, technically, but she was also a hero. Both things could be true. The gate code worked. The security system accepted the password. Maya moved through the dark house like a ghost, using her phone's flashlight to navigate hallways that cost more than her entire neighborhood. Marcus's office was on the 2nd floor, exactly where he said. The bookshelf was solid oak, filled with first editions and business texts. Maya pulled the 3rd book from the left on the middle shelf, and the entire unit swung open, revealing a wall safe. Her hands shook so badly she almost couldn't enter the code. 0-8-2-7. Click. The safe opened. Inside was a small encrypted drive, innocuous and world-changing. Maya grabbed it, and suddenly alarms screamed through the house. "What the—" She hadn't triggered anything. Had she? Footsteps pounded up the stairs. Male voices shouted. Maya ran, clutching the drive, her mind screaming. She made it to a window, shoved it open, and dropped into the bushes below just as security burst into the office. She ran through the gardens, scraped and bleeding, her lungs burning until she cleared the property and collapsed behind her parked car 3 blocks away. She had done it. She actually had the evidence. The hospital conference room felt like a courtroom as Maya stood before the board of directors, Dr. Kim beside her, the encrypted drive on the table between them. David Sterling sat across from them, his lawyer flanking him, his face a mask of contemptuous amusement. "This is absurd," David said smoothly. "A cleaning woman claims she can read minds, breaks into a private residence, and you're entertaining this circus?" But the IT specialist had already loaded the drive. Financial records filled the screen. Emails detailing the embezzlement scheme. Text messages between David and a mechanic about making it look like an accident. The evidence was devastating and irrefutable. David's face drained of color. His lawyer started making calls. Hospital security stood by the door, and 2 police detectives entered, their expressions grim. "Mr. Sterling," one detective said, "we need you to come with us." "You're nobody!" David screamed at Maya, his composure finally shattering. "A nobody! You can't do this to me!" "She already did," Dr. Kim said quietly. As the police led David away, something extraordinary happened. The hospital's emergency alert system blared. Code blue, room 712. Everyone ran. Maya reached Marcus's room first, pushing past nurses and doctors. His vitals were spiking, his body convulsing, but his eyes were moving beneath the lids, rapid and purposeful. Dr. Kim checked his responses, and her face lit up. "He's waking up. My God, he's actually waking up." Maya grabbed Marcus's hand, and his thoughts flooded in one last time, clear and strong. "Thank you. Thank you for being brave." His eyes opened, brown and warm and alive. They found Maya immediately, recognizing her, knowing her. His lips moved, and though his voice was barely a whisper, everyone in the room heard him clearly. "Maya, you heard me. You saved me." Tears poured down Maya's face as she nodded. I heard you, and I'm so glad you're back. Marcus squeezed her hand weakly. Then he looked at the detective who had followed them. David Sterling tried to kill me. That woman has all the proof you need. She risked everything to expose the truth. The detective nodded, already making notes. We'll need your full statement, sir, but Mr. Sterling is already in custody. As the medical team stabilized Marcus and prepared to run tests, Maya slipped toward the door. Her work was done. She was still just a cleaner, still nobody important. But Marcus called out, "Wait, please wait." She turned, and he was looking at her with such gratitude, such respect, that she felt seen for the first time in years. "I owe you my life," Marcus said, "and I owe you so much more than that. You're the reason I fought to wake up. You're the reason I held on. Don't disappear on me now." 3 months later, Maya Thompson walked across the campus of Sacred Heart University's nursing school, her backpack full of textbooks, her heart full of hope. The full scholarship from the Marcus Chen Foundation covered everything: tuition, books, even a living stipend so she could work less and spend more time with Zoe. She had been promoted at the hospital, too, to patient advocate, using her unique ability to connect with people to help families navigate difficult medical decisions. The salary was better, the hours more reasonable, and she finally felt like she was making a real difference. Maya visited Marcus once a week. He had made a full recovery, returned to running his company, and personally overseen David Sterling's prosecution. David was looking at 20 years for attempted murder, embezzlement, and fraud. Justice, finally. But more than that, Marcus had launched his charitable trust with Maya at the opening ceremony. $800 million dedicated to lifting up the forgotten, the overlooked, the ones society dismissed. Hundreds of single mothers were already enrolled in nursing programs, medical school, law school, following dreams they thought were impossible. In Marcus's private office, Maya asked the question that had haunted her since that first night. "Why me? Why could I hear you?" Marcus smiled, thoughtful. "I've thought about that a lot. The doctors say that in a coma, the mind is desperate for connection, for consciousness. Maybe mine reached out, searching for someone, anyone. And it found you." He paused, his expression growing more serious. "But I think it was more than that. I think my mind found you because you were the only person who came into that room and actually saw me as human. Not as a billionaire, not as a VIP, just as a person who needed help. You had empathy when everyone else had agendas. That made you special. That made you the perfect person to hear me." Maya wiped away tears. "I almost didn't do it. I was so scared. But you did do it. That's what counts. You chose courage over fear. You chose truth over safety. And because of you, thousands of people will have chances they never would have had." As Maya left his office and headed home to Zoe, she thought about destiny and choice, about the strange miracle that had changed her life. She had been nobody, just a tired woman scrubbing floors in the dark. But when the universe whispered its secret, when destiny called her name, she had answered. Sometimes the most extraordinary changes come from the most ordinary people. Sometimes the biggest heroes wear janitor uniforms and work night shifts. Sometimes all it takes is someone willing to listen, to care, to be brave when everything says to be afraid. Maya Thompson had learned that destiny doesn't find the powerful or the privileged. It finds the ones with courage enough to answer when it calls. What an incredible journey, right? Now I want to hear from you. If you were in Maya's position, risking everything to expose the truth, would you have been brave enough to act? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this story inspired you, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs to believe in the power of ordinary courage. And please subscribe to this channel because we're just getting started. Next time, we'll explore the story of a homeless veteran who discovers he can see through walls, and what he finds hidden in a bank vault changes everything. Remember, you have more power than you know. You just have to be brave enough to use it. Until next time, stay inspired.